Hello, my loves. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. It is hump day, y'all. It is Wednesday. I hope your week is going good so far. While you are here, go ahead and show me some love by liking the video and hitting subscribe if you are feeling the vibe. I just uploaded a new video today on my personal channel of 5 remote jobs that are hiring. 2 out of those 5 jobs are outbound calls only. Another 2 out of those 5 jobs are make your own schedule. And I've said before on that channel, in order to make extra income, it's always good to have a contract position to where you can kind of make your own schedule. So that's also an option for those who are looking for like nighttime positions from home, or like weekend positions, something that you can schedule around your job. That's perfect opportunity for you. Okay. So that personal channel will be linked in the comments below. As y'all already know, I have Storytime, Life After Divorce, How to Manifest Your Person, a story time of how I manifested my fiance. All of those wonderful things are on my personal channel. So I will link that in the comments below. Okay, y'all, so let's go ahead and get into today's video. We are going to be watching videos of my mother-in-law from hell. Y'all, get your popcorn because these are good. Especially the second story is literally like a Lifetime movie. I kid you not. So go ahead and watch the content creators. I'm going to be back at the end with my commentary.
Hi, I have a mother-in-law from hell, and I'm going to tell you about it. So recently, I had seen that Jess Aggressive Tutorials. If you don't follow her, she's amazing. But she had shared a series about why she has no contact with her mother-in-law. And it reminded me, I had a whole account dedicated to telling my story about my mother-in-law, and I have not updated it in almost 2 years. But I want to update it because things have happened, and because after seeing her series, I realized a lot of people can relate, and as heartbreaking as that is, there is something therapeutic about telling your story and having a community of people that understand. So if you haven't seen my page before, I think I have 3 or 4 videos explaining what she did by that point, right? The last video I was updating in real time. For a brief synopsis, though, my mother-in-law tried very hard when my then boyfriend and I started dating. She tried very hard to make it apparent that she was the number one woman in his life, and there was nothing anybody could do about it. She would tell me stories about his exes and how they would argue, or he had one ex that she loved from high school who was actually a terrible partner to my husband. Anyways, aside from that, the biggest points are she accused me of sleeping with my father-in-law, her ex-husband. She tried to convince my husband to take out like a $30,000 loan to help support a business she was starting up, like a couple months before we actively started looking at houses, but she knew we were looking to buy homes, and obviously that would have screwed us, and she was trying to convince him that it wouldn't. She has always had issues with the fact that my husband looks very similar to my father-in-law, her ex-husband, because she has another son and he doesn't get treated like this, and I'm convinced it is because my husband looks like his father. What else? She called me a baby mama when I was a fiance. She called me ugly. Blanking right now, but there's a lot. Go back and watch the videos if you really, really want to know. Anyways, where I had left off with my last video was that we had kind of put things aside and on the back burner because her mom, my husband's grandma, had a medical emergency and was in the hospital in hospice, and we were told that she was going to pass at any moment. His grandma did pass away early January of 2023, and it was heartbreaking. And we were visiting the hospital as much as we could. It was right around the holidays. It was very stressful for everybody involved. And the funeral was not too long after she passed away, obviously. throughout the hospital stay and the funeral and everything, we really, really were there for my mother-in-law, because it is a hard thing to lose a parent. And I watched my mom go through it when I was young, and I really, really empathized with her and really put it on the back burner, but knew that we needed to have a conversation eventually about what happened. However, the way that things were playing out, it looked like that wasn't going to happen. I have a sister-in-law who is a minor, who is very young, who I have since the beginning refused to argue in front of, involve in the situation, because that is not right and that is not fair. She was always around, and I think my mother-in-law knew that my husband and I were not going to have a conversation about the drama in front of her. So we, at one point, kind of, I guess, just silently agreed to just try to move on, which is not a good idea, but we tried. That Christmas, right before his grandma passed away, we did visit her on Christmas Day, and that was fine. We didn't see her very frequently. She did have a business open, and she was always busy with this business. If we ever saw her, it was because we went out of our way in another town to go to this business to see her, which was very, very frustrating. In this time frame, we had an infant, a very young infant, less than 6 months old, and she would just walk around this business with him, and it gave me a lot of anxiety because she would just walk out of the room, and I didn't appreciate it. She knew how worried we were about RSV, because obviously this is in peak RSV season and flu season, and she quite literally handed our baby to a person we had never met because they asked to hold him. Obviously, we weren't happy with that. After she got our son back, she looked at us and said, "I wasn't supposed to do that, was I?" Anyways, we don't see her very frequently, but we visit her business every so often. And things are tense, but not anything crazy up until my son's birthday, which is in September. My mother-in-law has this horrible habit of being late to everything, not just 30 minutes late, an hour plus late. And of course, she was an hour plus late to my son's first birthday party. This was frustrating because she was supposed to help set up, because I was pregnant. I was pregnant with my now daughter, and just like with my son, I had horrible nausea, except medicine was not helping me this time. So we could have really used the help setting up the decorations and everything for his birthday party, because I was just down for the count. Mind you, we were also announcing to everybody that wasn't immediate family that I was pregnant by gifting my son a t-shirt that said Big Bro on it. And that's how we were going to tell everybody. Obviously, we want to save this gift for last to announce to everyone. So we're opening gifts, and we get to her gift. And inside of it is a teddy bear with a onesie on it that says, "I love Gigi," her grandma name. And also inside of it is a smaller onesie that says, "I love my Gigi." Obviously, this was infuriating. I don't know if anybody really noticed the context behind it, but it was very frustrating because she knew that we were going to announce with a t-shirt, and it felt like she was trying to beat us to the punch with this gift and did not warn us. We let it slide. We show everybody the t-shirt. Everybody's super excited for us. Obviously, I have a 1-year-old. He fell asleep during his party. No big deal. And my mother-in-law showed up late, as I said. And she was trying to hog him the entire time, holding him. Mind you, she made no effort with my son. She did not have a bond with him. He did not recognize her. She didn't go out of her way to play with him or anything, but she wanted to have the Grandma of the Year title so bad. However, if you know me and you know my son is absolutely obsessed with my mother, his Lolly, over the moon obsessed with her. Regardless, my best friend goes over to my mother-in-law and she says, "Can I have him?" and just takes him out of her hands. My mother-in-law had been holding him for like 30 to 45 minutes. It's my son's first birthday. Let us have him. This is a long-winded video, so I'm going to go ahead and make a part 2. I guess technically 5 or 6, whatever. Hi, I have a mother-in-law from hell and I'm going to tell you about it. I'm not going to lie, I am like shaking because I went back to find the screenshots of the text messages that were exchanged because I tried telling the story without the text messages and I realized I have a terrible memory and so I need to document it. So I'm going to show this in a little bit, but reading them again made me angry. In my last video, I left off talking about my son's first birthday and how we think my mother-in-law intentionally tried to ruin our surprise for everybody else that we were having a second baby. The entire party, my mother-in-law was pouting, isolating herself. She refused to sit in like the eating area where everybody else was eating. And she and my sister-in-law, who is a minor, were sitting in the kitchen eating by themselves. This really annoyed my husband and I. At the time we were fiancés, because we really just don't like the negativity. It draws attention away from our child, who the day is supposed to be about. It's just infuriating. As I said, we were fiancés at the time and we were planning our wedding, and it was September at this point of 2023, and we were planning our wedding for October. So yeah, kind of a fast wedding. It was a micro wedding and we were already planning it, but finding out that we were pregnant again, it just encouraged us to go ahead and get it done. Because we were just sick of being engaged. We wanted to be married. Throughout the wedding planning process, my mother-in-law had been frustrating because she was upset that extended family wasn't invited. She was upset because we went with a different officiant than her sister. Mind you, her sister hated me from the last time we had gone no contact with my mother-in-law. So obviously, why would I want her to officiate our wedding? Anyways, the closer we get to the wedding, the more we sit there and we're like, you know what? We need to have a conversation because we don't want somebody pouting and isolating themselves at our wedding. It's supposed to be an amazing, happy, loving day. I'm about to show you the text messages. I will read them as long as I don't get too angry, but this is the message that my husband sent. We are in a group chat, so it's him, me, and my mother-in-law. And this first message is the only message from my, at the time, fiance. Let me shrink myself. It says, we can't help but notice there's some negative emotions lately and some comments made that seem to be directed at one or both of us. We aren't sure what is causing this. However, this is not the kind of energy we want on our big day, so we would like to get this resolved before then. As for the video you sent, we don't know if you're threatening to slap someone or who this, I can't read, or who this is aimed at, but with the demeanor you've been showing, we took it as a threat. I forgot to mention this before I showed the screenshots, but she did send Polly a TikTok. I don't remember the exact words, but it referred to slapping someone that pissed you off. And obviously, I piss her off based on her actions. And so my husband took it the wrong way. I took it kind of the wrong way. And we just thought we would also bring it up. At the time, again, I don't remember the exact video, but it felt like a pretty big deal. Her response is what set me off immediately. Here we go again. And when I saw this text, I lost it. And I typed this response in 0.00005 seconds. Yes, mother-in-law, we want to have a conversation about how you've made us feel. Is there something wrong with that? I was pregnant. I was extra sassy. Please do not judge me too much. She said, please understand, son, I did not threaten you or anyone in your home. If it was taken that way, then obviously you need to fix that. This is a typical behavior from my mother-in-law, is saying that's a you problem. I am not interested in fighting neither of the two of you. Again, I do not, sorry, the timer's blocking it. I do not have the energy or the will. As for how I made you feel, I'd look into the mirror. My name. It's making me mad all over. My mother-in-law says, I love you, my husband, but I can't keep doing this. If I keep quiet, I'm wrong. If I say how I feel, I'm wrong. I'm not going to argue with y'all or be bullied again by y'all. Nobody was ever bullied. We tried to have civilized conversations about how we felt, and we were met with gaslighting and... Anyways, I respond with fighting. You're too scared to even have a conversation with me, mother-in-law. I'm so sorry you take being held accountable for behavior as bullying. The last time I checked, we're adults, and that's part of life. You don't keep quiet, you make sly comments and show exactly how you feel with your attitude instead because it's easier to hide behind, right? I'm sorry, I haven't read these in a while. I'm sassy. Let me move myself. You want to see bullying? Look at the way you treated me for the past 4 years unprovoked. It's sad, it's disgusting, and it's pathetic. You genuinely need help, and I hope you get it eventually, because if not, we don't have the patience for it anymore. My mother-in-law said, I got you. My name. My husband's name. I love you, and I hope nothing but happiness and joy. But I will not let your baby mama talk to me like this, and you were not raised like that. I think my timer's blocking it again. For context, this was meant to trigger my husband. My husband does not like the terms baby mama, baby daddy. He thinks it means deadbeat. He thinks it's insulting, especially when you are engaged or married. And she knows this. She knows he hates it. And she definitely did this to provoke him. She continues to say, so with that, I wish you and the babies nothing but happiness. And remember, I'm always here for you and the kids. But I'm tapping out. Good luck and take care. Me, my name. Forget my number. Do not text me ever again. I will not put up with your petty anymore. It's funny how she doesn't like anyone on your side of the family. My husband's name. For reference, I do not have a problem really with anybody on my husband's side of the family. She, however, I don't know if I mentioned this in previous videos, talks mad about everybody in her family, including her now deceased mother. The first time I met everybody, she prepared me by telling me, I'm so sorry, they're all terrible people. She told me her mother was a Facebook grandma and did not give a shit for her grandkids. She told me one of her sisters was a closeted angry lesbian and her other sister was a money-hungry. So yeah, I did have preconceived notions about her family because I was taking her word for it. And I said, coming from an actual baby mama is crazy. Why are you so scared to talk to me, mother-in-law? If you don't know, my mother-in-law has 3 kids, one from one guy. That son was officially adopted by her former husband, my husband's dad. And then she has my husband, and then she has an adopted daughter. So yeah, if anybody's the baby mama here, it's you. She said, I'm not, and you are not worth my energy. I just realized her name is not censored, and I'm going to need to do that in TikTok before I post this. I said, it's funny how you expect people to tolerate your behavior. It's funny how you can't back up your own behavior. Sorry, it's blocking it again. I get along with everybody except you. You can't even talk to me when you're a grown-ass woman. And this is the end of the conversation. She says, goodbye, my name. Yeah, she says, goodbye, my name. Take care. You keep texting me. I will file harassment charges on you. And I say, feel free. I'll be sure to take you to court for defamation. Because she tried to tell everybody that would listen that I was sleeping with my father-in-law. She sends back laughing faces. And I say, have fun with your sad life, mother-in-law. Don't have many people left at this point, do you? Blocked. And I blocked her number. I don't have much time left in the video, but those text messages happened and my husband was pissed, not at me. The last message I sent, he did think I was making a dig that her mother had died, and that was not what I meant. It was a dig at the fact that she can't keep people in her life because she's a psychotic.
Time how I was stalked for 3 years without knowing that it was my mother-in-law and my husband was helping her. My husband and I were married for 10 years before we started having any trouble, but a little backstory, when we got together, a big problem for us was his relationship with his mom. They were very close. They had that very close, you know, when a mom has been a single mom her whole entire life, and she kind of lives through like the husband she wished she could have had in her son, and like her son can do no wrong. And you know, she always interjected herself when my pregnancy. She always wanted to be there for the deliveries, and she was just always doing too much. So me and her really had a very strained relationship, and she always felt like I took her baby boy away from her, and her relationship with him was never the same when I got in the picture. I do want to reiterate that I was was a stay-at-home mom for the majority of our marriage. In the last year of our marriage, I did start to work, but I asked my mom to watch our kids because, like I said, me and his mom never had a good vibe, and she was very vindictive, and she didn't like the fact that I had my mom so involved, and I didn't really want to give her the time of the day because she just kind of always showed me like weird vibes. So, like I said, 10 years into our marriage, we start to have financial troubles, and his mom really likes to criticize me and say, well, you're not bringing enough money into the table. You know, she would like crack a lot of jokes about how I needed to do this and I needed to do that and blah, 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 blah. You know, my husband was very encouraging of me, but at the time when we started to have those financial troubles, I did notice that he started to like stay out later, and he started to do a lot of things that I wasn't used to, but I assumed he was working another job. I really didn't like to question him because I didn't want to stress him out because I knew that I wasn't bringing enough money home, and I didn't want to be a contributing factor to his stress. About the time that the stalking begins is about 6 months after we have that fight over our finances. I start to get messages on all my social medias. I start to get stalked at the gym by different people. It always feels like somebody's following me when I'm at work. It always feels like somebody's following me. I get these notes, I get these flowers, I get all these weird things, and nothing is adding up. And I'm starting to feel like, am I imagining this, or is it just a coincidence? You know, because I would ask my husband, like, did you send me flowers? And he would be like, oh yeah, I did. And like the notes that I would get, oh yeah, I sent them to you, because nothing was very threatening until I started to get these notes that I needed to disappear, that if I knew that what was good for me, that I would just disappear, and that I just needed to just start a new life, that bad things were going to happen to me, that I just need to leave, and I just didn't understand why I was getting these types of messages and why this was happening to me. It all comes crashing down the day that I come out from the gym and I'm attacked from the back and I fall forward, breaking my front tooth and literally hitting my chin on the concrete, and that requires surgery, and I am gravely hurt by this attack. Once this attack happens to me, I take all my evidence to the police and they tell me that they're going to investigate. But now the attacks get worse when I get out of the hospital. Now my tires are being popped. Now all these other things are being done to me, to where I now feel so unsafe that I asked my parents and my family to get more involved. My friends and family were looking up at footage. Nothing's adding up. It all comes down to this number that calls me, makes threats, and we're able to trace it back to a relative of mine. Not relative of mine, of my husband's. And we end up going and we go question her, and after a couple hours she does crack and say that it was my mother-in-law, that she came up with this plan to basically get me to unalive myself, or basically make me so scared that I take off, to where they can cash in a life insurance policy for her son so that he is no longer in debt, because I was the issue, because I wasn't giving enough money or bringing enough money to the table. So I was a part of the reason why her son was so stressed out. Armed with the testimony of the relative and all the evidence that I had and the attack that happened to me, we went to the police, and my husband and his mom are arrested. During the trial and the questioning, my husband is very sorry for everything, and he's very apologetic, and he's like, I'd never wanted to get hurt. I just didn't see a way out of my debt. I didn't see how I could do it, and this is the suggestion that my mom had. Did I mention that my husband was the only boy? She had 3 daughters and he was the only boy. When the mother was questioned, she basically said that she wasn't sorry for anything that she did, that she didn't have no intention to really hurt me, but that she needed him to get that money and she was going to do anything she needed to help her son. So she ends up getting 15 years in jail for what she did, and basically the plan and everything. And my husband ends up getting a plea deal for 5 years, as long as he testified against his mom, she was the organizer and the idea on this whole plan to stalk me and just basically drive me insane so that I take off or take my own life. My husband and I are now divorced. He is actually now out of jail. We do not speak. He has no custody of the children. I have my children with me. I am remarried, and I basically, since he got out of jail, I've never talked to him again, and I never talked to his mom. And the moral of this story is, sometimes when things, again, like the last story that I told, sometimes when things are happening in your life, you have to really look over at the person laying next to you and ask yourself if they have any part of what is going on and all the bad things that are happening to you guys. Stay safe out there.
Story time about how my mother-in-law invited the ex to the family reunion and said in front of me that they should be together instead of me and him. This is a prank. Why is this happening to me? So basically, y'all, I'm the type of person, like, I like to sit in the car, but I do like to go speak to the parents, the family, and all that. But I just don't want to sit there in their face, because I don't know, like, if your family isn't like really welcoming, I don't want to really be around it. Like, I just feel like my face tells it all. And if I'm sitting there bored, I'm going to be bored. So, y'all, the mom really kind of don't even like me. Okay, I don't know what the reason is. I don't know if it's because I got a big old BBL. I don't know what the reason is. So, y'all, she tells him to invite me to the family reunion, which I'm thinking is a nice gesture. Okay, cool. I'm going to come. I'm going to show support. So in the midst of me coming, I'm already feeling like weird type of vibes because she's pressing that I come. Like, is she there? Is she there? Is she there? I'm like, you ain't never pressed on me this much. Like, what you got going on? So y'all, we get there. I'm speaking to everybody. She's not even introducing me. Okay, keep that in your head. She's not introducing me. I'm speaking to everybody because he's literally walking by saying hi. So I'm saying hi as well. So he's like, oh, this is my girlfriend. This is my girlfriend. This is my girlfriend. So I'm happy, boo. He's introducing me, baby. I done met Auntie Sheila that got the flappy arms, the uncle with the bald head. You gonna give me $100 for Christmas, huh? So y'all, it's about 2 hours in. You see a girl walks up, right? But it's not a walk up like a, oh, I'm the cousin. It's a walk up like, yeah, I'm here, like, finna start some trouble. So I'm thinking like this one of the cousin baby mamas, like, okay, let me see what's gonna go on. Let me see the drama. Not even knowing, baby, it's gonna be my own drama. Not even know this gonna be about us. Okay. All you hear is, oh, my baby. Your mama got another baby? You didn't tell me you had another sister. You got a sister? I thought you was the only child. Hold on. Wait. Y'all, when I tell y'all they gave a hug like they ain't seen each other in centuries, that's the type of hug they gave. Hug, kiss on the cheek. Oh, I missed you. I missed you. So at this point, the family's looking at me like, who was that? Right? To me, and I'm looking at them like, who was she? That's what we need to, let's jump her. You get what I'm saying? So now he looking at me, and I'm just like, what's going on? Like, she trying to clock my tea? Well, why you trying to clock my tea in front of the family? Relax. Relax, Momo. Y'all, when I tell y'all she went around and introduced that girl and said, oh yeah, this is my son's ex-girlfriend. I really wish she was his girlfriend. I politely asked for the keys, went to the car, cried for 2 minutes, and called my Uber. You can have her, and so can your mother.
My husband and I are expecting our first child. We moved to be closer to his family. I'm not in contact with mine. My mother-in-law has been referring to the baby as her baby this entire time. She will say things like, I can't wait for my baby to be born. My baby is going to be so loved. This rubs me the wrong way for reasons I cannot explain, but my husband is telling me to ignore her. That also rubs me the wrong way for reasons I can explain, but I won't. Let's keep reading. My mother-in-law wanted to throw me a baby shower and invite her friends. She said they had made an agreement a long time ago that they would celebrate each other's kids' weddings and births. My husband and I are eloped and declined a reception for her friends since we don't know them. My mother-in-law told me that I owed it to her and to let her throw the baby shower since I hurt her friends' feelings by not having the wedding reception. Okay. I asked if I could invite my friends and she said no, that this was for her friends and that if my friends wanted to throw me a shower, they could. I reluctantly agreed. You're better than I am. My husband and I spent hours on our registry and my mother-in-law asked for it so she could share it with her friends. She said she forwarded the registry on. She asked me what design I wanted on my cake and cookies. I told her flowers because I am decorating the nursery in a garden theme. Very cute. At the shower, they provided me with a mother-to-be sash and my mother-in-law with a granny-to-be sash to wear. It's pretty cute. I noticed that the theme of the shower was circus animals. The cake had an elephant and balloons on it, and the cookies were animals. At first, I thought that maybe the floral theme was just too difficult, so I rolled with it until it was time to open presents. Every present was some sort of circus animal. Oh no. Onesies, blankets, toys, nothing on my registry. I was a little confused and even went so far to check my registry again to make sure I hadn't goofed up and changed everything. I thanked everyone for their gifts and tried to sound as gracious as possible, but I was so confused. My husband, who is a little less tactful than I am, showed up at the end of the shower and noticed the theme right away. He goes, "What's up with all the circus animals?" He looks at the presents and says, "This isn't what we asked for." Good for him. Then he looked at his mom and goes, "Mom, what did you do?" She smiled and said, "I didn't like the theme you chose for my baby." No, ma'am. I'm going to decorate my baby's nursery at my house with circus animals, so I created a registry for myself. My husband said, "You did what?" She says, "My baby is going to need a room at my house, so I threw a shower for myself." I lost my composure and told her that she would not see my baby and to stop calling the baby hers. And my husband told his mom that she's delusional if she thinks we're going to allow this. She started crying and said we are just withholding her baby from her. Is this woman okay? I'm actually a little concerned about her. Like, not in a funny way, like I actually am like, is she having a hard time aging, you know? We've been getting texts from his family since the shower calling us selfish and ungrateful and saying we ruined her joy of being a grandma. Are we that?
Okay, let's go ahead and get into these monster-in-laws, which is a real movie, by the way. Have y'all saw the Monster-in-Law movie with Jennifer Lopez in it? Y'all, that movie is so funny. I need to watch that again. I be cracking up at that movie. It's really good. And it's actually a good lesson at the end of that movie. So if you have seen that movie, let me know in the comments. That is so hilarious to me. But, you know, when it comes to these situations, y'all, like, I feel like we really got to start having more conversations talking about this, because that will be like the break of a lot of relationships ending is toxic family members on both ends, okay? And, you know, it's really important to set these boundaries and pray about your union up front. Like, I'm a person who is happy to pray. I will say that I will pray in a heartbeat in front of anybody, because I feel like prayer really does work. And, you know, I always pray that I can get along with my in-laws. I pray that they genuinely love me and my children, that they genuinely care for our union and our connection and marriage, and, you know, just genuinely want the best for everybody. You know, prayer is important. So it's important to kind of pray for these things up front. And if you are a person who is on your spiritual journey and you watch my video of how to manifest your person, that's one of the things you can write down on how to attract your person is on what you're wanting, out of your person. You could definitely write down that you get along with everybody. That's one of the things that I did write down, is that, like, you know, we get along with each other, like family, kids get along with each other. Like, I wrote that down as well. So that is what I feel like you can do as well. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I did do a video on how I manifested my fiance, and I told the in-depth story, and then I also told them about how I wrote down everything I was looking for in a partner, and everything that I wrote down, y'all, literally came true. And I also give instructions at the end on how you can manifest your person. So if you're interested in that, again, my personal channel is going to be linked in the comments below. But it's important to pray over these things, y'all. So with the whole first story, it's definitely giving narcissist to me. Like, ma'am, I cannot stand people who throw darts, and then when you react to their actions, they get mad. They try to play like they're the victim. Like, ma'am, it's giving narcissist. Like, you are really disrespectful to call her a baby mama after your son proposed to her. Now, legally, would she be considered a baby mama or whatever through the legal system, since they are technically not married yet? Yes. But for you to just actively call her that, especially when you are a baby mama yourself, is beyond me. Like, from what she has told us, like, you have 3 kids and you only married one of their fathers. Like, girl, what are you talking about? You are clearly delusional. Like, that's very disrespectful, especially if your son has already said that bothers him when you do that, and she said that bothers her when you do that. Like, why are you sitting her calling her that? Once a man gets on one knee and he proposes to you, that lets you know that he wants you to be his wife. Now, it's one thing if it's year after, I'm talking about you on year 4 or 5 and y'all still ain't planning no wedding. It don't take nothing to go to the courthouse. I am a courthouse person. I will go to the courthouse the same week. Like, what you doing? What you trying to do? You trying to go to the courthouse? Let's go ahead and get this documentation set up, and then we can get the wedding ceremony planned later on. Like, I'll do that in a heartbeat, okay? Especially because we are older now. Like, I will do that in a heartbeat. So when it comes to that situation, it's like, it's one thing if somebody year after year, like holding on to you for years and just propose to you to shut you up, and then now y'all engaged for 5 years, like that's different. But clearly they were actively planning their wedding. They just got engaged from what she was saying in my understanding, and then they was actively planning their wedding. So for you to be disrespectful and keep calling her a baby mama when it bothers your son and her, that's disrespectful. Clearly he done the right thing. He made a commitment to her and he wanted to marry her, and he got married to her because they're clearly married now and they have a family and stuff. So it's disrespectful for you to do that when they are in the planning of their wedding portion of their, marriage thing. So that's rude and disrespectful. I'm glad that they went no contact with her. She did say that in one of her videos after, that they went no contact. So you can definitely go to her page, and she has stories for days with her, and she has updates and all of that. So I'm glad she went no contact. Sometimes you have to do that with family members and toxic family members. My peace is always going to be first. I don't care who you are in my life. With the second story, like, you done lost your mind. Y'all done lost your mind. That is literally like a Lifetime movie. But the stuff that people will do for money, it just doesn't surprise me anymore. But y'all done lost y'all's mind. Here's what pisses me off about that. You have to watch when he's the only male. Sometimes you have to watch that and pay attention, because unfortunately a lot of women will see their sons as like their, spouse or anything else. And I'm gonna hold y'all hand when I say this. Let me hold y'all hand slowly when I say this. Your son is not your man. Your son is not your husband. Your son is not the father of your child/children. Your son is not your financier, accountant, okay? He's not. Now, morally, is it right for your son to help you? Absolutely. Mom, you need me to put this together? You need me to take your trash out? You need me to pay for this? You need me to, morally, of course, there's nothing wrong with that. But I need y'all to understand the boundaries when it comes to that. Your son is not your man. He's not your partner. And it's really sick that a lot of mothers have that mentality because they never could, get a husband or a man on their own. And they see their son as that. Like, that is just sick to me. But how you gonna get mad that she was a stay-at-home mom? I'm gonna tell you what I think it is. I think that she was jealous. I think that the mother was jealous that the daughter-in-law could stay at home with her children when she was a single mother who had to obviously work hard and maybe even struggle. And I think that she was jealous and hating on her that she had the luxury of staying at home. Once they agreed that she was going to be a stay-at-home mom, you need to put that energy towards your son. Your son is the provider in that situation. That's what they agreed upon. Now, I do feel like, and I have always preached, that women should have their own money. I feel like even if you aren't going to work, try to work remotely. I actually feel like mothers should work remotely. I feel like that should be a number one choice, is working remotely. If you can start studying in a field or even creating your own business where you can work remotely, I feel like that's going to always be number one, so you can still take care of home and you don't have to send your children off to childcare or anything like that. Y'all can save that way, and then you can even prepare meals at home. You can do some laundry at home, just all this kind of stuff. I feel like it's better to work from home. You even save gas by doing that. So I always feel like that's number one choice. And again, if you're interested in remote work, or someone who is, definitely follow my personal channel. But for sure, remote work is always going to be best. But I do feel like women should have their own income coming in. But the fact that they agreed on her being a stay-at-home mom, that's still not her fault that all of a sudden stuff start happening financially. A lot of men who talk about this topic talk about that they will work 2 or 3 jobs before they put more load up on their wife or partner who already has a lot going on being a stay-at-home mom, okay? Because you have to think, if you have children that are not at the age to where they can go to school, then that means now you have to pay for childcare. And we all know childcare is expensive, especially when you have more than one child and you're not getting assistance. And the way the world's going now, we don't know how long and how much that assistance is going to be. So it's way less expensive if you just work remotely if you are going to work. That way you can generate income to help the household. Plus, you don't have to send your children to childcare. They can just be at home with you, you know. So I had a when I worked at this trucking company, I remember I had this one lady who sat next to me, and she ended up having twins. And at first she was trying to work and they was doing the daycare thing, and then she decided to quit and be a stay-at-home mom because her husband said they was going to save more money with childcare and stuff. So that's real. So again, your energy should go more towards your son versus her. That's not her fault. When it comes to, you know, the third story, off the chain. Now, we don't know the other side of the story. We don't know if she did anything or anything like that. But if that is genuinely the story, his mama off the chain for that. And he should have said something. He should have went off and confronted the situation. You know, like, why are you just allowing that to happen? I expect my man to check that situation right there. Like, if your family member ever, any of your family members ever thought it was okay for you to invite an ex, and like, and it's different situations for different things. Like, obviously, if y'all have children together and it's a holiday to where maybe they stop in to say hi to the mother or something like that, you know, or like y'all exchanging the kids, or if the kids are small and you walking in to give the kids or whatever, hey y'all, how y'all doing, walking out, that's different. I'm mature in the fact of like, that's not a big deal. But if you don't got no ties to this person and you just inviting this person just to come over, like, that's disrespectful. And I expect you as my man to check that, or then me and you are going to have a problem. And, you know, for the fourth story, like, no, you are not a-holes. And it's crazy how many people in the comments felt like that was okay. No, clearly the mom know what she's doing. Say this with me, y'all. Boundaries. 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 Because, ma'am, what? Like, this is my child. This is our baby. You don't ask me what I want for the baby shower for the baby I'm carrying, and then you do completely opposite of what we asked you to do. Oh, well, I wanted this and I wanted that. And you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's a situation to where they don't have to cut her off entirely, but I would have a long talk with her, and him as her son, he might have to do it solo to where he has a long talk with her and be like, look, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going on here. Okay. Here are the boundaries. No, you cannot do this. No, you cannot do that. No, you cannot do this. Like, the boundaries, and give her a chance after you have told her the boundaries and what will happen if she don't follow the boundaries. You can give her a chance after that. And if she still don't follow them, then cut her off. You know what I mean? Because it sounds like she's way too comfortable doing that. And I don't know if her son ever put his foot down prior to her getting pregnant, but I'm telling you, that's just the beginning of a nightmare. Like, once you have that child, she gonna be off the chain. My sister had to deal with that. She gonna be off the chain. She gonna be trying to tell you what doctors you need to take the baby to. She gonna tell you what the baby can and cannot wear. She gonna plan the baby's birthday party without you. She gonna tell you that y'all need to come to her house on Christmas, that you don't need to go to your family's house until a certain time. I'm telling you, that's just the beginning. Wait till the baby actually get here. So firm boundaries, y'all. But you know, again, these are the stories on one side. We don't know the other side of the stories. I'm just going based off of what they said. But y'all can let me know what y'all think. Have y'all ever had any issues with monster-in-laws? Let me know in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. I will see y'all in the next one.